is a GPS satellite collar. So what we use to track the elephant movements. It's quite heavy. This can take photos, can record video. So every collar has a unique radio frequency, so we can just choose the frequency we're looking for, and then with the antenna we can identify the direction where the sounds come from. In the last 50 to 60 years, landscapes in Malaysia have changed drastically from being almost continuous forest, and now we have about 40% of tropical rainforest left. We are trying to produce information on several things. One is the movement of elephants, related to several things like translocation, when the wildlife department moves one elephant from one place to another place because of the human-elephant conflict, or see how they move in a very fragmented landscape when we have modified the land use very much, and then the natural habitat is kind of a small island, the smaller portion of the landscape. But elephants still remain there. How they live, what is their source of nutrients, and what is their behavior, because we know they need to avoid people, and also how they behave in natural conditions, as natural as possible in a continuous pristine forest. We are trying to develop techniques to extract information from the DNA or from other samples, like hormones obtained from dung. It's very difficult to obtain information directly by observation, but we can use these methods to get really strong data to answer questions for conservation and management. The target is to get 50 GPS collars in the next 5 years. 50 will be maybe 3% of the population, and it's much more than all the information we had before. Elephants eat all of the food crops that we produce. They consume many of the crops that we produce for other purposes. So then, for them, crops are like a supermarket.
They are angry with the elephants when they find their livelihood is damaged. Otherwise, they seem to be comfortable with coexistence because it's something that they have been accustomed to for generations, because they live in that area. And also, they also at the same time say that we do pity the elephant because it needs a place to stay, needs a place to roam about. They are in a bit of a trouble situation. They are aware, they understand the situation of the elephant. At the same time, they also have to give priority to their own livelihood. So that's the dilemma in many of these places. We are now going into a new area where we're looking at possibility of communities who are living in the edge of forest, trying to clear forests for mainstream economic activities like rubber plantation.
For the movement pattern, we are coloring them using the GPS colors and monitoring their position every hour throughout the 24-hour cycle, so that we can then graph their activity pattern for that 24-hour cycle and see what time during the day that they're most active.
If we lose the Malaysian elephants, basically we will lose a unique element of tropical ecosystems. So elephants are the biggest animals in their ecosystems. Whatever they do in a unique way. So when an elephant walks on the forest, it walks in a way that no other animal does. So you cannot replace one elephant with 10 deer, or with 1,000 mice. And then what we will lose is all the involvement in ecosystem processes. Even when they eat, they are modifying the structure of vegetation. They are releasing plant parts that will be consumed by other animals. They are doing things like dispersing seeds. They are promoting the maintenance and regeneration of many plant species. So when all this will be lost, our forest will be way more simple. Many species will reduce in numbers and range and eventually collapse. And at the end, we'll have a much more simplified ecosystem that is less resilient and is, it has lost a lot of its diversity.